Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak Up Sis Podcast. This is the place where everyday women and men have an opportunity to share their stories to inspire yours. We say what you think no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to know. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine, and tonight is Encouraging Experts. We show up here every third Monday of the month, and so you all know that we've got a second host tonight as well. My sis, Charnell Williams, is in the building, and we are excited to be here to talk with you all tonight. We've got an amazing guest. Miss Kendria Johnson is going to talk with us tonight. But before we bring Kendria on, Charnell.
Hey.
Hey.
It's been forever. I say that all the time, but no, this time for real, it's been forever.
It seems like every time we show up in the space together, it's been a while since we've shown up in this space. But no worries, we're working on that, y'all. We've got some things going on behind the scenes. Make sure that you stay connected with us. We've got some amazing shows coming up in the new year in 2023. So y'all just hold tight. We're going to be here. We're going to bring you goodness. We're going to encourage you, and we're going to bring you some tips and strategies to help you along the way professionally as well as entrepreneurially, right? So Charnell, catch us up a little bit. What have you been up to, sis?
Busy. Well, we're in my busy season for Clean Corp.
Oh, yeah, holiday time.
So everybody wants to get their house clean at the last minute.
Okay.
So we're trying to accommodate as many people as we can. I've also made some admin changes and some, planning for 2023.
Okay.
Right? And I started that back in the summertime. I didn't, you want to plan ahead.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about how we're going to end this year and how we're going to begin 2023 despite this, the recession and everything that's going on.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, some of the largest, most prominent companies that we all know today, some of our banks and things of that nature, they became who they are during the Great Depression, during times of recession.
Right.
We don't want to pull back during recession time. We want to go forward, full speed ahead, right? Bulldoze all of this stuff. Don't give up during this time of recession. This is where the diamonds are made.
Yep, huge opportunities.
So that's what's up. Well, I'm sure with Clean Core, you're gonna make lots of money at the end of this quarter.
That's the goal.
You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas. Folks are planning for parties and family gatherings and things, and they need everything perfect.
Yep. Because, you have those uninvited guests that show up.
Yes.
And criticizing, oh, your baseboards.
Right.
Oh, you need to get your house clean.
Right. And I'm sure after COVID, people are really anal about being clean and making sure that things are.
Yeah. I think people get a better understanding and appreciation for it more so now than before. But you still have some that are still,
why you want to look like you want to say they still nasty?
That's exactly what I was going to say. But I was like, I don't know if I should say nasty. But that's exactly.
Listen, we'll call a spade a spade.
Okay, that's right.
But here's the beauty in it. At least they know they nasty, and that's why they hire you.
Yeah. Then you have the ones that don't know they're nasty. They don't realize how nasty they are.
Right.
You go, oh, my house is not that dirty. And you go in and you can barely walk in it.
Right. You're like, I'm going to have to charge you $200 extra dollars.
Right. Oh, my.
Right. So that's what's up. Well, you know what? In Speak Up Sis Land, we have been doing some new things as well. So for those of you who do not know, and if you don't know, that means you're not connected. Make sure you go to speakupsis.com and get on the newsletter so that you can stay up to date with all things Speak Up Sis. But we released the Speak Up Sis magazine.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, girl. We've got an entire magazine now. Yes, I'm super excited. We launched September 24, 2022. I was real excited because within the first 30 days, we had over 1,200 impressions, over 500 reads of the magazine digitally, and it has been downloaded in over 7 countries.
Wow.
Within 30 days of launch.
Wow.
So, yes. So it's growing. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how we connect the podcast and the magazine. I'm looking forward to being able to feature our future guests from the podcast in the magazine and things of that nature. So you all, if you're not connected, go ahead and get connected. So we're going to go ahead and start this conversation tonight. Teacher burnout.
Yeah, it's real.
Is real.
It's real. And before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Valerie.
Okay.
She says hello.
Hey, Valerie. On YouTube?
Yeah, she's on YouTube.
All right. Make sure if you are following us on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to click subscribe and that notification bell so that you are notified every time that we have new content on the channel. I appreciate you. All right, so I see there's somebody peeking in on Facebook, but they haven't spoken yet. So we're gonna give them some time. How you doing, Gemma? It's good to see you in the building. Thank you for joining us tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about teacher burnout. We've got an expert in this arena. She is an educator. She has a master's degree. She is also an international educator, and she's an author. And she's going to come into the space and talk to us about burnout for teachers. What can you do to maybe prevent or stay away burnout? She's going to talk to us about what to do if you are currently burnt. Just forget the out. You just burnt. What is it that you can do? And then she's going to talk to us about what are some next steps, just in case you just already out the door and you just need to know what to do next. So let's welcome Kendria Johnson to Speak Up Sis Podcast. Welcome, sis. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Angel. Thank you so much for having me today.
That's what's up. And you look beautiful. For those of you who are watching via YouTube or Roku on the Boxcast channel, or whether you're watching on Facebook, I know you can see her. She's glorious right now. Just all her melanin is popping. But we know that she's gotten herself up pretty early because she is not in the United States of America. She is actually in the United Arab Emirates. So, Kendria, if you will, please introduce yourself to the Speak Up Sis podcast listeners. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you are before we jump into our topic tonight.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So my name is Kendria Johnson. I am originally from Dallas, Texas, and I was a teacher there for about 12 years in the public school system when I had basically hit that wall of burnout that we're about to talk about here. And this opportunity just jumped in my lap. It just kind of fell into my inbox about teaching overseas, and I just decided to do it. I made a drastic change. I don't always recommend that to my clients that you do something that big, but I took this opportunity, and when I moved here, things started to happen for me. Started to move and change. My mindset started to shift. And I started to basically make different choices for myself and my career. And that's why I'm still a teacher to this day. So I'm now in year 22.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love it. I love it. I'm a math and science teacher. I teach 5th grade math and science here. And just being here has made all the difference. And so once your mind is clear and you have clear goals for yourself, then things like, a book, traveling, things that you love to do actually just kind of manifest themselves. So I am here to basically open up the door and leave the door open for other teachers who might be experiencing some type of, career fatigue, let's call it. And, I shuffle them in I said, come on over here. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's see where we're at and see how we can get to the next level. So that's just a little bit about me, a little bit.
Okay, and before we jump into, and those of you who are watching, feel free to put your comments in the chat. If you have questions, you can ask them tonight. We've got the expert in the house, and so we're gonna let her help us all out tonight. But Kendria, if you will, please tell us just a little bit about Teacher of the Year, Strive to Thrive Toolkit, because it's a book that you've written to help teachers. So just really quickly, give us a little information about that so we can include that into our conversation tonight as well.
I sure will. Yes, that's like my baby. My books are my baby. This is my second book. My first book was about me. This one is actually about my career, and my life, and how I got to Abu Dhabi. I had a lot of questions about how I got here. Well, it was a long journey. It was a process. And it starts out with, my struggles with burnout, because I wasn't calling it that, Angel, when it first started happening to me. I wasn't calling it that. I just knew I was tired all the time, and that I was sick a lot, and that my hair was falling out, my skin would break out in hives. I had high blood pressure, of course, had high blood pressure, and I also had anemia. So if I would get up too fast, I'd feel faint. I'd start to have fainting spells. And it was one thing after another, just one thing after another. I'd go to the doctor and get pills for one thing, and then something else would creep up, and then I get pills for that as well, medicine for that. And so I was just like, something's not right. I was 37 years old, losing my hair. I had patches of hair missing from the back of my head. And I was like, this is not right. Something's not right. And all of those things were related to stress. Stress was the culprit. That was the thing that was that was the common denominator of everything that I was going through medically. So when I started to, kind of be burned out emotionally and mentally, but then when it started to affect my health, I knew I had to do something different. So this book chronicles that journey. And so when I moved here, people always think that, it just automatically changed me. It did not. I still had to go through some self-help, I had to go through some things where it's not working.
Okay.
Taking all these pills and having high blood, that's not working. I'm too young for all this. And so moving here, once I started to do the work on myself and I started to make goals for myself, things started to change. Things started to happen for me. And me being a teacher and me being a writer, it's just, I write everything down. I just do. I write everything. I journal. I put everything on pen and paper. So I just wrote this book during the pandemic. Started out as an online course that I was giving, 6 steps to successful teaching. And then I just put it in a book. So it didn't take me but 2 weeks to put it all together. And I was like, I'm going to try, if I can, to help someone else who may be struggling with the same things I was struggling in, because I did what most people do. They go to their friends.
Right.
They go to their friends and they're like, I'm just not having I'm not having a good experience with this teaching thing. And they was like, oh, girl, just suck it up. That just comes with the territory.
Right.
We stressed. I'm stressed. We all stressed. You just have to get over it. But I'm like, I'm not getting over it.
Exactly.
And I found myself like trying to smile my way through it. So my friends, even though they meant well, they were just like not helping me. So I sought professional help. I had some mental health professionals that come in, and I paid these people to say, okay, what is going on with me? And we dealt with some of those issues that I was having, like people pleasing and not wanting people to dislike me, and not saying no, because I don't want anybody to be mad at me if I don't show up and do everything for all people, right? And I've been cured from all of that, but it took work, because someone telling me to say no wasn't the same thing as me actually having to do it. Because there's a price for peace.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right, let's slow down here, because sis, you have said a lot, and we're going to unpack this, because you said there's a price for peace.
Yep.
Charnell, she said a price for peace, and everything you just said, we've talked about even in entrepreneurship in general. Right. So let's start here. Let's unpack this a little bit. So we've got some teachers, right? So we've got some teachers who are watching and they're listening. Can we start with how they can determine when they are in a place of burnout? Like, can you give us some signs, some symptoms? I know you told us some things
Sure.
that happened to you, right?
Right.
Are there sort of some general things that teachers can look for to at first identify? Like, maybe I'm getting a little burnt out.
I think people pretty much, they know when they hit a wall, especially when you in the parking lot every day, like not once a week, not once a month, every day crying, like I got to go in here and do this again. When you start feeling that, because for 4 years straight, I was like, I am done. This is my last year. I'm not doing this again. This is too much stress. I'm going to go back and do something else. I got 2 degrees. I'm going to figure out something else, right? But the signs of burnout are different for different people. You can Google it if you like, and but the thing about Googling stuff is it's like WebMD. You just think you're suffering from everything. Right. But if you Google a list, such as the one that's in my book, if you Google that list and there was 10 things on it, right? There was 10 things that say I had 8.
Oh, wow.
I had 8 of them. I wasn't sleeping. Well, I had complete anxiety. I was neglecting my friends and family. I was barely seeing them. I was putting in way more hours at work than I should have been putting in. Of course, I had, medical issues. Had medical, I just described just a few medical issues. And then there was this, I remember being in a space where I would sit in my living room and I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't sleep. And even if I went to sleep, I would wake up in the middle of the night. And I remember my heartbeat would be going a million miles an hour when I woke up. And I'm like, something's not right. And I didn't have anyone. I'm single, so I didn't have anyone in my life saying, you need to go check in with yourself. You need to figure out what's going on. People will say things like, you just need a vacation.
Right.
And even on my vacation, I wasn't sleeping.
Right.
And even on my vacation, I wasn't rest. My mind was not at rest. Let me clarify. My mind was not at rest. Even though I'm sitting on the couch at home, my mind would be going a million miles an hour, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be on the computer.
Gotcha.
Right? Just doing stuff, so I can keep my mind occupied, because I have been programmed to believe that in order to be a good teacher, you have to be 100% present for those kids, and that means even on the job and after the job. And I have been programmed to believe that, and it is absolutely not true. That is the reason I wrote the book, because you can be a very good teacher and not have to sacrifice your personal life, your personal time, your relationships. You don't have to put in all those hours that they ask you to put in, especially if they're asking you to do it for free.
Oh,
there's things that you can do.
Right.
That put boundaries around yourself. Okay? So if you're experiencing anything like, you're feeling restless, and, you have high anxiety, you have, maybe you're depressed. Maybe you've been diagnosed with depression, because that's definitely one on the list. So I was both. I was depressed when I wasn't at work, and I had anxiety when I was at work. And nothing was helping. Nothing was helping me. I had to go and see some mental health professionals to figure out where is all of this coming from. And once you unpack it, it's different for different people. Now, as a person that helps other teachers, I talk to teachers every day, of course, at work and then after work, my clients. And you always can pinpoint it down to 3 things. It's either a person, place, or a thing that's got them in this space where they just, I don't know if I can take it another day. I don't know if I'm gonna be here next year. I don't know if I'm teaching this for me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. So once you get to well, why don't you like it? What's going on with you? So yeah, if you have any kind of symptoms, you kind of know, just like I was every day. I'd cry when I get to work. I'd cry in the parking lot. I'd cry on my break, and then I'd cry when I got home because I was tired.
I think
I was exhausted.
That's a good point, because even in life, or even if you're just going to work, I know people, and I've experienced this too, when you sit in a car and you just got to get your mind right before you go in that place.
Right.
And I know it's learning and understanding yourself, your body, your habits. For me, when I'm stressed out, I don't realize I'm stressed out until everything is finished.
Right.
Because I'm going. I don't know I'm stressed out until I don't have an appetite. When I don't have an appetite, that's when I'm like, okay, you're stressed about something. Yeah. And because you're on this hamster wheel, sometimes you don't even realize what it is because there's so many layers
and
arenas and things and people pulling on you and situations and fires you have to put out. So I think that's really good. And it's good to recognize and to know and understand yourself.
Yeah.
And pay attention to those signs.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I don't realize I'm stressed out until I stop eating.
Yep. You know, my thing, even now, I can look, hindsight is always 2020. I can see this when I was informal or traditional education, but even now in entrepreneurship, I know when I'm done, when everything's a mess around me, when my room, when I got the dirty clothes and the clean clothes all on the bed with an empty plate and a bowl over there and some cups over there, all in one room, and then my workspace is junky. I know then, okay, I'm having some mental. Like this some mental
or
stuff.
Even your mood and your attitude.
Yes, when I'm unable to, when I allow my physical space to become disheveled, and all a mess, and then I sort of get stagnant, and I'm like, okay, I'm overwhelmed now, and I can't even clean up. Right. That's when I know, okay, you need to pull back.
Yeah, sit down and breathe.
And breathe.
Get it together.
Breathe. Yes. I totally get that. So, okay, so signs. The truth is that people know the signs. They know what some people aren't really self-aware. I was going to say there are a lot of people who are not self-aware. So getting to that place.
And they're used to it.
And they're used to being in it, so they think it's normal. Right. So you can grab one of Kendria's books, and there's a list. You can actually see that, or you can Google and see what some of the signs are. Okay, so Kendria, let's talk about those teachers who are in it right now. So we got teachers who are like, I'm feeling burnt out.
Right.
What do they do? What's the first step in this?
Well, there's 3 types of teachers that contact me. The first one is just like me. Okay. They're exactly where I was 10 years ago, which was, I love it, but I'm tired. And I'm being pulled in too many different directions. And I don't have time for myself. I don't have time for my kids or anything like that. But then there's a second type of teacher that's like a robot. She's exactly what you just described, where she just has gotten used to it. And she doesn't realize, he or she, doesn't realize that, the passion is gone. Right. Passion is gone. They've forgotten their North Star. They've forgotten what it was. Why they started, why did they do it? Then that last person is they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They've completely unplugged. There is no passion left. There is no purpose. It is just a job. And at the end of the year, I will be doing something else. Right. They're out. And so 3 of those teachers usually call me. And my advice is we always go back to, how did you start? What made you get into it?
What's your why?
What's your why? And then we go back to, I call it the easy effort formula. We try to figure out what's going on for you to fix some of those things so we can get back to that place. Then we talk about where are you in your career, and are you satisfied with it? I still can't believe, even though I've been doing this a while, that there are teachers that are teaching something that they don't like in a neighborhood they can't stand. Wow. And they're with the age group that they do not actually, that's not even their expertise. Right. And so that makes all the difference, because you're spending a lot of time at your job every day. And if you're doing something that you don't like, it just makes the job that much worse, right? Everything starts to bother you. So like, for example, I had a teacher, one of my testimonies is Tanya. Tanya was a friend of mine. We started out as mentor-mentees. So I was her mentor. She was my mentee. And she could not stand English. So she came as an art teacher, but they stuck her in English. You know how they do. The principal's in there. Right. I have an opening. Let me just put her in. She hated it. And so my job as a mentor was to, convince her to, let's figure out ways we can make it, more exciting and more fun for you. But at the end of this first year, she still didn't like it. She still didn't like it. And then I told her to do these three things that I that subsequently had put into a book, because at the time, you're not writing a book. You're just giving advice, right? You're just trying to help someone else who's struggling more than you. Then that's all I was doing, was helping her. And I said, how did you get here? What do you want to do? And what will you do to get what you want? So the third question is the one that got her stuck, because then I'm holding her responsible for, what are you going to do? This is what you want. You want to teach art. I got it. But, what are you going to do to get what you want? What do you have to sacrifice? What do you think you're going to have to give up to get what you want? Well, Miss Johnson, they call me Miss Johnson at the time. Miss Johnson, I like it here. I like the neighborhood. I like the kids. And I like the I like you. I like all the people that work here. But I just don't like English. I said, did you talk to the principal? Yes. Did you ask her again before the beginning of the year to put you back in art? She said yes. And at the beginning of the next year, the principal does what they normally do, is do what they want. And they left her in English. He said, I need you, Miss English, Miss Tanya, you got to stay. And she said, she came to me again. And I said, what are you going to do to get what you want? And she went to a job fair, and she put in her resume, and she got 10 offers. She interviewed with 17 different schools, and she got 10 offers to be an art teacher. Now, how long would she have stayed there had I not said that to her? Had I not, prompted her to do what she wanted to do? How long was she said? How many Tanyas do we know? I know tons of them.
Tons.
They just stay in it because it's a job. They told me I had to do it. I'm certified to do this, but I don't like it, but I'll do this anyway. And then they get grumpy, and then they get, they get burnt out about it, because really a lot faster, because you're not doing what you want to do. Live in your purpose.
Right.
Your degree.
That was going to be a question, because I think a lot of teachers feel like they don't have a choice. When you say, well, what is it that you want to, just like, well, I'm not the one making the schedule, right? I'm not making the schedule. The principal said I had to do this, right? So helping teachers to realize that you get to choose. You don't have to do anything. You get to choose whether or not you want to stay or whether or not you want to leave. And there are options. Right. You do have options.
Yeah.
We start with those keys. Everybody got keys, right? We got keys. You got keys in your purse. You got keys right now. Those keys probably open up a door to your house or your car, or both, right?
Right.
Where you live and where you go in that car is your choice. Stop going to these places, to these schools, and allowing the people in charge to dictate your career.
Right.
When I left the States, I remember making this statement to them, because you get real flippant at the mouth when you get another contract somewhere else, and it's better than the one you got now. You get real like sassy. So I would say something to like, I would say things like, they need math and science teachers everywhere around the world. I'm gonna find somebody that needs me, because they kept moving me around and I didn't like it. And I kept telling them, stop doing that. I'm a veteran teacher. Why are you moving me and not the new people? Move the newer people around. Why am I getting moved? I should have the same classroom every year. And they were laughing at me and scoff at me. It's just part of the job, Miss Johnson. It's part of your job. My job is to take care of me. My job is to do what I want to do. I like math and science. I know that there's a high need area. I'm going to stay in this space that I want to be in. And my principal wasn't having it. She had a control issue. So her job, she felt, was to make everybody do her bidding. And I was like, you don't have that much control over me. You don't. You see, you have control over this school and the decisions about this school, but my life is mine. And so I would have these conversations with people, and they'd be like, Miss Johnson, everybody's not like you. Get the book.
But I think
call me for a clarity call, and I'm gonna teach you how to be like me, because all it takes is a mindset shift.
Right.
I think the schools do the students a disservice when they have people in the wrong place.
Yes.
When companies hire the wrong people doing the job that they're not passionate about, they're not doing a good job. These are our children.
Right.
We are helping to develop them to, we criticize, or some people criticize, the children that are outside in the world, and not just at home, but they're being influenced at school as well by the teachers. So if you have someone, I don't want someone teaching my child that doesn't want to be there.
Right.
That's not passionate about it.
Right.
That they're not an expert in this particular field. I don't want an art teacher teaching my kid math.
Right.
Because when they go
they
out
don't like
here in
math,
the
can't do math,
world,
and got to go open up the book.
right, and when they go out in the world, people looking at them sideways because you don't know this. This is simple arithmetic.
Right.
And they're like, well, my art teacher told me. You know, it's. I mean, if we're looking at it at face value, if we're looking at it in black and white, it makes no sense.
Right.
It's filling a space. It's putting a warm body where it needs to be filled instead of putting the right person in the right position.
Yes.
And that is doing a disservice to our children, and we see it every day.
Right.
Every day.
Every day,
Right.
our children,
Every day.
especially our black and brown children,
Yes.
which is so disheartening to me,
Yeah.
because that some schools that's not going to happen. But I see a lot of my people, a lot of, and it's sad. It's so sad. You know, I don't want a warm body teaching my kid. I want an expert.
And here's the thing, though. The majority of teachers recognize that, and that is a part of where the frustration comes. I think a lot of times educators get the short end of the stick, and it's like those teachers. The truth is that many of those teachers believe exactly what you just said. They agree with you, but they feel like they have no control over how anything is done. There was a time years ago, I started teaching. I think I did my student teaching in 1999. But during that time, the pendulum was getting ready to swing. But there was more autonomy in the 90s. There was more autonomy in the 80s. Teachers had a lot more control over what happened in the classroom. So you saw teachers staying. They were teachers for teaching grandparents. You could say, oh, I taught your grandmama, your mama, and whatever, because the administrators, the powers that be, council people, Congress people, allowed teachers to teach. Well, now there's been a huge shift. Teachers don't have that level of autonomy, and that is a part of what is leading to the burnout. For us to sit here and say, this is the issue, teachers are going, yes, you're right, you're right. And that is the issue. And so what I want to make sure, even in this conversation, is that teachers know that they have a choice.
They do.
That they have options, right? There are other things that they can do beyond leaving the profession.
Yes.
Because many of us love teaching. Like, I love teaching. And I think it's important for us to know that if education is going to, if they're going to have an educational system, they're going to need teachers.
Right.
I don't care if you do it virtually. I don't care if you do it in person. I don't care how you do it. You're going to need teachers, and teachers, I think, need to step into that place of power and knowing that, you know what, y'all need me to be here.
Exactly.
So
you
know
need me
what?
more than I need you.
Yes. So therefore, we need to begin to sit at the table
And acting on that, because they know it already.
Acting on it, yes.
Right, they know. Yeah, they know they need me more than I need them. But are you acting on that? Are you showing that? Are your actions backing up what you're saying and believing?
Yes.
Because leadership, they need to hear this as well. They need to understand, okay, I don't have to do what everyone else is doing. I can put people in the right places. You know, and
so you go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I think this is a hot topic.
Hot topic. It is. It's a hot button for me as well.
Before we continue, I want to make sure that we acknowledge the people who are in the room with us on our Facebook page. I want to shout out Jamar Lowe. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for sending the stars. Those of you who are on Facebook, if you enjoy the content, if you like what we bring to the table, you can sow a seed. Bless us with some stars. Thank you, Jamar. We appreciate you. We see Trusty. How you doing? She said, hello, ladies. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. Shantae Quelliar. She says, I became an adjunct instructor for medical assistants. Being a former nurse, I loved it. Faced a lot of challenges initially due to my teaching style. Yep, teaching styles will lead into some spaces as well. You find yourself being told you have to teach a certain way or you can't do certain things, and that can definitely lead to some burnout. Hello, Krista Simmons. She says, I am a teacher and realtor. Got to make ends meet. Oh, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, sure is.
This is my 17th year, and I have even seen things change so much. Yes, Krista, lots of changes. And she says, I love teaching. I love it when I can be with the students and actually teach them. That is something that I would like for us to make sure that we understand that a vast majority of teachers love their jobs. They love teaching. They love the young people. If you ask the average teacher why they want to leave, they'll tell you it's not the kids.
Right.
It's not.
Most teachers will say it is not it doesn't matter how raggedy Junebug them is. Okay. Most teachers, real talk, most teachers love Junebug and Pookie Num.
Yeah. Because it's a challenge. It's a challenge that they're willing to.
Yes, it's not the kids, it's the bureaucracy. It's the red tape. It's all of the foolishness that's connected to it. Right. So Kendria, all right. So we talked a bit about some signs. We talked about if you're in it, knowing that you can come out of it. Do you ever get teachers in your space who are like, I'm done?
Yes.
Done. What do you do for them? What do you suggest for those teachers who are saying, I hear y'all, but I'm done? What do you say to those teachers?
Well, if they call me and they say that they're done, I usually don't argue. I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and figure out how we got here. Okay. And how we can prevent it to the next job. Because see, if the problem is, just like I said, I when I moved here, the problems just, they didn't stop. I had to do the work on me.
Right.
So if the problem is, because it's a few things. If it's a place, then let's just switch jobs. Let's go to another school, see if you can have a better experience. But if those problems keep reoccurring, then it's probably not necessarily the school or the principal. It might be something where maybe you are finished with the world of teaching children, but you don't have to be in a classroom to be an educator.
Yes.
And I have other coaches, coach friends and mentor friends who have businesses. Whole business is dedicated to helping teachers transition into other parts of education, like being in consulting, which is what I do, and then being in writing books or helping people write curriculum, or being a counselor, being a representative for the book companies. They love teachers. The people that go around and sell these programs, these $1 million programs to these districts that don't nobody use. People, those companies love educators. They love educators because we're not afraid to speak up. We're more than likely have the educational background that we need in order to be able to speak to teachers. And so there's always an avenue where you can go somewhere else. However, if you call me, then there's probably a thing that you're asking for some help, right? If you call me, you asking for help. So what I help them do is to figure out the why. Why are you here, and why did you get here? Where do you really want to see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? And if they say something, I just want to be at peace. Well, you might not be at peace if the peace is not coming from you. Then it won't be around you wherever you go.
Right.
You have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and that your mindset is okay. Because if the problem is you, it doesn't matter where you work.
Right.
I have absolutely seen that. I have absolutely seen this in my career and working with teachers and being a mentor, that, it's these kids, and they go to another school and then they calling me, it's those kids. And then they go to another school, it's those kids. Yeah. Something. You sure it's the kids? Because the bottom line is you.
Right.
You sure? The bottom line is you. And I have and you met those teachers who have no business in the classroom.
None.
Right.
You met them. You work with them. They have no business there. I have had conversations with them about, why don't you just think about doing something else? You ever thought about doing something else? This might not be for you, because you have to have a heart for these children. If you don't, it will show, and it will affect everything around them.
I think it must be said,
yes,
that being in the wrong profession will cause burnout.
Yes.
We have to say it. There are some people who should not be teaching anybody's fur babies.
Right. Right.
Babies, Cabbage Patch babies, like nothing. And part of the reason there are some teachers who are burnt out is because they're in the wrong profession.
Yeah.
And you needing to pay rent should not be a reason that you go into education,
or any
profession, but especially not teaching people's babies.
Right.
Come on, Charnell.
Right.
We need them not in the classroom.
No argument from me.
You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like, Kendria, that it sounds like you want to help teachers remain in the profession. That's what it sounds like. It's not that you want, people come in to help them leave, but you're saying, hey, I can help you to remain and to be healthy and whole in the profession that you love. Is that am I kind of in the right space?
You are absolutely in the right space. And then I can't say I've mentored thousands of teachers, but I have spoken to hundreds, especially for the book. And when they walk away from me, they think about things differently. And if they walk away from my program, let's say I've coached them for 3 months, 6 months to a year, and they walk away thinking, I'm going to go back into this and see if I can do it another year. And they have the same issues, then they can't say no one told them, because I told you.
Right.
The issues will not come. They won't fix themselves.
Right.
You have to change your mindset about the issues and learn how to cut that phone off, put some boundaries around yourself.
Ooh, no, you didn't tell them teachers
once
to
in a
turn the
while.
phone off.
Yeah, turn that phone off. Turn that phone off. Yeah.
The issue will be there tomorrow.
Turn that phone off. That should be understood. No, you're not allowed to call me after 7:00. After the sun goes down. You're not allowed to call me about anything that has to do with school. No. Parents, teachers, principal. I don't care if it's on fire. Don't call me. Do not call me. Leave a message or a text saying the school is on fire. You ain't got to come in tomorrow. I'll catch it in the morning. Don't worry. But I'm not going to, interrupt my own day. And I have to make sure that I am on the schedule. I'm on my own schedule. I'm on it. Instead of me having to put time to squeeze myself in, I am on it. And so what I do is I teach teachers how to do those steps, those 6 steps that I have in the book, just to make sure that if they do want to leave, then you've earned your way out.
Right.
Once you go through the book and you're like, you know what, I still want to leave, go ahead. Let me introduce my friends. Let me give you their phone number, and they can help you find another position somewhere else if that's what you want. I have no problem with that. The reason why I started this movement, Angel, was because I was tired of seeing good teachers walk out of the schools. Just walk out. And these are not the lazy ones. The lazy ones still there. Ones that don't need to be teaching, they're still there.
Right.
It's a paycheck
collecting a check.
Yes.
It's a paycheck to them. They're still there. But the teachers that were like me, they were walking out. There's a teacher right now. My friend is a manager for one of the hotel Holiday Inn Expresses. She'd rather do that than teach 7th grade math. She was an excellent teacher.
Wow.
I went to her for everything, but she would rather do that than to be in the schools. And then I talked to her recently, and she was like, if I had you 15 years ago, maybe I wouldn't have left. Right. So I became the solution to the problems that I had long before. I became the solution that I needed.
Right.
I wrote this book for them. I wrote this book for those teachers. Everybody might not feel like we feel about it sometimes. Their kids are great, parents are great, principal's great, school is great. But my experience is simply that it can be daunting, because a lot of the things we just talked about the politics and the bureaucracy, those are you get overwhelmed with that, and you feel like I'm just a small wheel in a big pond.
Right.
No, get on in there and get your voice heard. And if they don't listen to you, be ready to make a move.
Oh,
be ready to call a bluff and make a move, because I kept bluffing.
Wolf tickets. Stop selling them wolf tickets.
Yeah.
Stop selling them wolf tickets.
You know what? This is also one of my favorite Bible scripture is all things work together for my good. So anytime things get crazy, I say, okay, this is for my good. I don't understand it. But this is an example of someone living it, learning it, experiencing it. Now she's selling it.
Right.
She's monetizing it.
Yes.
Because she's turning something that was so, I don't want to say evil, but something that was annoying or
frustrating, unhealthy, unproductive.
And now there's a niche for it.
Yeah.
Because she's not the only one.
Right.
And this is we all go through things in life and we're feeling like we're the only one, and we're not. And you can, if you are able to overcome that, you can monetize that.
Right.
You can help other people who are going through the same thing.
Look at the coach over here, Profit and Cleaning coach over here. She is gonna find a way. Charnell is gonna find a way to help you become an entrepreneur. And she's right though. Yeah. What Kendria did was find. She realized there was a problem.
She became an expert in her pain and sold it.
Girl,
I'm trying to
become an expert in your pain and sell it. Exactly. Sell the solution. Yep. Y'all better catch these jewels. Listen, Krista Simmons is on Facebook. She has a question. And Krista says, how do you ladies feel about emails and phone calls coming through from admin during the day when you are trying to teach? Kendria, I already know what Kendria gonna tell you. Kendria, Kendria, can you answer? Can you give us an answer?
Ignore, backspace, delete.
Oh,
silent, because you're teaching your job. You're here for the kids. Sometimes principals power trip, and that sounds like a power tripping move, because she knows you in school. She knows you working. But your job is to work for children. Now, the admins, they do give you some grief sometimes, because they get power hungry. They get their position gets to their head every once in a while. I'm not saying this is the situation, but your job is for the children. If she calls you on it,
right?
If she says, "Hey, I sent you an email, I called you, I texted you," where I was teaching. I was doing the job that I was paid to do, that I'm hired to do. What is it that you actually need? And then if I guarantee you, more than likely, it's probably not an emergency. They just want to talk to you about such. See, your inability to plan your day is not an emergency to me. So therefore, you can put that in the email. I'll catch it later. You don't know how many conversations I've had with admin, and you know what? They still respect me.
Right.
They respect the fact that I put the kids first.
Right. And that goes back to you creating that schedule.
I need to see you. Okay, well, did you need to put somebody in my class? Because I can't leave these 7th graders unattended.
Right.
So if you send somebody in here, I'll be happy to come to your classroom. I'm gonna drop everything and leave those 25 kids in there by themselves. I'm not doing them a service.
Right.
I'm not helping. I'm actually going against the rules by doing that. Send someone in my room, and then I'll be over there. Or stop calling me. And stop calling me, and then maybe put it in the email, because it's always something that they just want to tell you.
Right.
They could have waited till 3.
Right. I used to always say err on the side of the kids. Yes. If I'm going to err, I'm going to err on the side of the kids. And so if I'm going to get in trouble, yes, if Angel's going to get in trouble, it's going to be because she was doing what was in the best interest of the children. And answering your phone calls and emails in the middle of my class is not in the best interest of the children. So prayerfully, Krista, that helps a little bit there. Heather says, I'll have my kid text me during the school. Heather, Heather, let me tell you something about Speak Up Sis Podcast. You got to be careful with them comments, because sis, you going to hear some stuff. Listen, but you know what? We don't know what your personal situation is and all that good stuff. So you know what you need to do. But those phones, we gotta figure out what to do with those phones. While we're at work.
I believe it has a lot to do with discipline. So even just in business or in life, we live in a microwave society. Everybody wants what they want when they want it immediately.
Right.
But if you say, okay, I have a time block on my calendar, and from 12 to 12:30, I'm going to respond to emails.
Right.
If it comes at 1:00 and I'm done responding to my emails,
you got to wait.
Right. But you have to be disciplined in that.
Yeah.
Because you're training people on how to treat you.
Right.
So if you are interrupting your class to respond to a message or whatever, next time you decide I'm not going to do it, they're going to say, well, you did it last time.
That's
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
No, you have to set those boundaries.
Yeah.
And just in life in general, not just, I know we're talking to an educator right now, but you have to set those boundaries.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you put an auto reply message saying, I got your message, I'll respond to it between this time and that time.
Yes.
Right. And it's not just the administrators, it's the parents as well.
Right.
Now,
No one's going to die.
with I've had and there is no emergency in education. That is in the book. There is no emergency in education, y'all. We are not doctors on call. No one is going to be left in surgery with a scalpel because I can't pick up my phone.
Right.
That's not what we do here. But I've had conversations with superintendents and I've had conversations with principals. They have a different level of stress, but they still have their own version of burnout. And what the principal was saying was, I tell my teachers they have to be on call 24 hours. They have to always have their phone. I said, and that's why you keep replacing teachers every year, sir. That is why you're replacing teachers. That's why 80% of your staff is being replaced every year.
That's
because
insane.
You're saying that your time is more important, or the parents' time is more important than their time. That's not fair. I didn't sign up for that. And you gonna pay me to be on call 24 hours a day? Then I don't think so. We're not doing that.
Right.
And so I said, well, I don't need to send my teachers to you because you're going to make them do a rebellion. I said, no, you need to just go through my course. You need to go get my online course and you need to come to my workshops so you can understand where teachers are coming from and why they're burnt out and why you have to replace your staff. That's why you keep getting knuckleheads, because you keep getting people that you have to take, because all the good teachers are being run off because people know their value and they know their worth and they know that there's other schools out there. There's always somewhere I can go where I can feel a little bit more comfortable. And that is an abuse of power, to tell teachers, you have to have your phone on all the time. For what? What are you going to call me? Children, are you going to call me at midnight and saying it's a class in there waiting on me? Why are you calling me at, midnight about some grades? This has happened to me.
Right.
This happened to everybody I know. It happens to me.
Did this principal take your course, come through your program?
No, that's a power issue. Because think about it. If you're in a place of power and you can tell people that all day long and get away with it, then you're going to try to keep that power. But the people that are leaving your organization are not speaking well about you. Right. I won't say the school and I won't say the principal, but they're not speaking well about you because you're not running an effective ship. There are leaders and there are bosses and there are managers.
Right.
What you're trying to do is be a boss. You're just telling everybody what to do. But what you need to be is a manager and a leader for them. They need you to lead them. They don't need you to tell them at 8:00 at night, we have a meeting tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. Send that in an email. Come on now.
Right.
But the problems that people have, sometimes we contribute to because we don't speak up.
Right.
I like what Charnell was saying earlier about, you teach people how to treat. I say that all the time. I have autonomy at my job because I designed it that way. I designed it that way.
Right.
You don't think parents complain about me? You don't think the principal sometimes I get on her nerves because I'm like, I'm not doing that. You find somebody else to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not coming in here on no Saturday for these kids for free. Nope. If they're not getting it between Monday and Friday, I'm so sorry. Right? Now, if you want to pay me, then that's fine. But I'm not going to do that for free. When I say no, and I say no quite often, there's a chapter in the book that says no is a complete sentence, then it's me protecting my peace and my time, because time is the only commodity you don't get back. Right. So you're not going to replace my time with money. Because sometimes money is not an effect. If I just want to be at home on a Saturday, I need to be at home on a Saturday. I have tons of stories of how I've stood up for myself. I am my own testimony.
Right.
So if even if I could get my clients in here to testify, I can testify. 2 weeks ago, they called me and said the grades were due. Something was due, and I was like, but it's Friday at 3:00.
Right.
Yeah, they're due by midnight. I said they're not gonna be due today. I'm in Dubai.
Right.
I'm on my weekend. It started, so they're not gonna be due today.
I'm brunching.
They were like, well, Miss Kendra, we need it by midnight. You need it by midnight. I heard what you said, but I am already on vacation. Call me on Monday morning, and we'll talk about it.
Right.
And they didn't call me again. And Monday, sure enough, I could still do the grades on Monday. They had to unclick a button and then click it back.
Right.
I put the grades in. They had to click it back. You'll be okay.
You will be okay.
People want you to make their emergency your emergency.
Your emergency.
Right.
And that's stressed out behind it.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So listen, ladies, I know it happens all the time, but we got 5 minutes left. We got 5 minutes left in the show, and this has been a great conversation. My mouth hit this thing here. This has been a great conversation, Kendria. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Everyone who's watching, I believe they love. I've seen the hearts flowing and all that good stuff. Let me just say really quickly to Heather. Heather's on. She said, "I'm sorry, Heather. No, you don't have to say sorry, sis." Listen, we joke and jive in this space all the time. We accept comments, questions, all that good stuff. You just got to be ready for whatever the response is going to be when it comes through. That's all. So before we leave, though, I would like for you, Kendria, to once again share with people how they can connect with you, how they can work with you one-on-one if they choose to, how they can get your book, get in your course, all that good stuff. Share your social media handles. Let the people know how they can connect with you, sis.
Okay. Well, my personal website is www.iamkendria.com. That's KENDRIAIM, Kendria.com is, no dashes, no spaces. And all of my information is actually there. An excerpt of the book is there because I have an audio version, the Kindle version, and the paperback. And the audio version is there, a sample of the book. You can also see a list of my courses. You can take some things online because I'm overseas, but I still work with people in the States. And if you are interested in one-to-one coaching, I recommend that you do some of the online coursework first and then give me a call. But some people just call me straight away. Listen, I need your help. So if you want all of my information, go to www.iamkendria.com. My email is there. My phone number is there, even though I live in another country and I probably won't pick up if it's crazy hours. But my email is there. Always email me. That's the best way to get in touch with me. And I can send you my links to anything that you need. There's a free masterclass on my website as well. It's an hour long about the 6 steps to successful teaching. It's a prelude to this book. And if you want audio, paperback or Kindle, all of those links are there.
Perfect. Well, Kendria, I want to say thank you so very much for saying yes to coming into this space and sharing yourself and sharing your testimony, sharing your work and all that good stuff with us as well as our listeners. I have thoroughly enjoyed just chopping it up with you. It's not too often that I get a chance to talk to other teachers that have done some of the things that I've done in my career. So it has been wonderful, and I appreciate you coming into the space. Charnell, would you like to say something to Kendria before we step out for the night?
I just thank you for being here. You gave some great points and nuggets, just not just in teaching, but just in life in general, right? How to organize and put boundaries in your life and protecting your peace. So and you talked a lot about mindset and how you need to shift that. And I thought that was really good. I really appreciate that. And I think our viewers do as well.
Yeah, we've got lots of great feedback. So everyone, we are coming to a close tonight. I appreciate every single person who showed up tonight, whether you are in our YouTube space. Please make sure that you click subscribe and become a part of our YouTube community. If you are on our Facebook page, thank you so much for tuning in tonight and commenting and asking your questions and all that good stuff. We appreciate you. Charnell and I are here every third Monday of the month for Encouraging Experts. If you're interested in being a guest, please visit speakupsis.com/podcast. That's speakupsis.com/podcast and click the Become a Guest button. We would love to have you in this space to share your expertise with our listeners. And listen, if you have not gotten a copy of the Speak Up Sis magazine, go and do that. And until next time, don't forget to open up your mouth and speak up. Take care.